Hello, everybody. Welcome back into the Mad Cave. Today, as promised, if not a little bit late, I'm going to be doing a tier list of University of Utah athletes. It's not going to be the same convoluted thing that I did in the first one. Just, synonymous with the why, hey, I remember him, all that stuff. It was too convoluted. I'm going to keep it simple. S through D. How I view these players and coaches, and it's solely based off of my own sort of thing. It's not necessarily anything that has to do with like actual talent, their impact when they went to the pros, or anything like that. It's a little bit there is a lens to it because I grew up a BYU fan. I've since done my best to slough that off my shoulders and just look at all sports in Utah as a good thing. So there is a little bit of that, like how much I disliked that sort of player or how much he dominated BYU. I mean, I'll just get it right down to it. How much that certain player or coach just absolutely demolished BYU in every stretch of the imagination. So that's what this is going to be. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it around, all of that stuff that all the other YouTubers tell you to do. They tell you to do it for a reason. And so I'm going to dive into it, and we're going to start with Alex Smith. Alex Smith is an S tier. Alex Smith, BCS Buster. He was in the Heisman race up until the end of the season. He's a very good and long NFL career, came back from a horrific leg injury where he could have lost his leg and even played in NFL games afterwards. He's a great ambassador for the game, for the Kansas City Chiefs, for the Washington Commanders, and most of all, for the University of Utah. He's a guy that I think he was the first inductee into the Ring of Honor that the University of Utah started here a couple years ago. I mean, he's S tier, right? Alex Smith is S tier. He is that guy. Next up is Andre Miller, S tier. Part of that Andre Miller, Michael Doliak, Keith Van Horn trio, the big three, before the big three was a thing, at the University of Utah, where they made that deep run in March Madness. They beat North Carolina, which made me cry because I was a North Carolina fan at the time. I was very young, right? I was 23. No, I was like 6 or 7 or 8 years old when that happened. I like North Carolina because A, Michael Jordan, B, those baby blues. Come on. When you're an 8-year-old kid, come on. So they were my team, and Utah beat them. I wasn't happy about it. Everybody else around me was very, very happy about it. I guess I was a contrarian even back then, before I even knew what that word meant. And I still don't really know what it means. But Andre Miller had a very long and successful NBA career. He's a coach now. He's an ambassador for the University of Utah basketball program. And yeah, one of the best to ever play basketball at the University of Utah. Next up is Andrew Bogut. Andrew Bogut is S tier. Number 1 overall draft pick in the NBA draft. Alex Smith was a number 1 overall draft pick in the NFL draft. That happened in the same year. Not many universities can claim that. The University of Utah can. So Andrew Bogut, definitely S tier. Played for a very long time in the NBA. Played for Golden State, Milwaukee, among others. He was a big man that could stretch the floor a little bit, but if there was a rebound to be had, Andrew Bogut was going to get it. If you missed a shot, you may as well just go back on defense because Andrew Bogut was going to get that rebound. That's what it felt like. And he played very well in the NBA. He's a great ambassador for the sport of basketball, especially in his home country of Australia. And, there's not much more you can say about Andrew Bogut. Just a gentle giant off the court, and on the court, a monster. Really, that's what it boils down to. So here, for this next one, I'm going to have to cheat and look at my list here. But this is CJ Crone. So CJ Crone's going to go in D tier. And it's not necessarily anything against him. He was a fantastic player at the University of Utah. He was a first-round draft pick in the MLB draft when he came out. He had a long career in the majors. He's not technically retired right now. I think he's playing in AAA somewhere. But I know him because he played for my favorite team, the Colorado Rockies. And he was very good for them. He was traded to the Los Angeles Angels a few years back. And that was when they were trying to keep Shohei Ohtani in the Anaheim Angels colors and on that part of LA. Didn't work out. They made a push for the playoffs. That didn't work out. CJ Crone was a piece that they tried to get to do that, but he was a very good first baseman. He played very well for the Rockies. Didn't really quite work out for the Los Angeles Angels in the way they hoped, so that's why he's going in D tier. Daylon Wright. Daylon Wright's going in C tier. He was a Pac-12 Player of the Year. He was first-team All-Pac-12 when he was at Utah. A dynamic guard who could score anywhere and everywhere. I mean, you point to a spot on the floor, Wright was going to get there, and he was going to just make a shot. That was the kind of player he was. Played in the NBA for a few years, and just a really solid overall player, and somebody that the University of Utah should celebrate a little bit more, I think, because in their Pac-12 years, he was probably their second best player to go through the University of Utah while they were in the Pac-12. I firmly believe that. Next up, Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd is going in A tier. All-American at Utah, helped Utah win the Pac-12 title, first-round draft pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just an outstanding athlete. Like, Devin Lloyd was great. He was fun to watch, and fortunately enough for me, he was playing at Utah when I no longer loathed the university, so I could appreciate just how darn good he was. And he's a very good linebacker. He's still in the NFL. He's still starting in the NFL. Signed a new free agent deal. I cannot remember off the top of my head where, but definitely a guy that you want on your team. He's a rangy linebacker. He'll fill the hole in the run game, and he's going to drop back into coverage. He's going to pick you off, and he can rush the quarterback. I mean, what else do you want from your linebacker? So Devin Lloyd is definitely A tier for me. Devontae Booker, for me, is S tier. That might be surprising to some people, but he's S tier for me because he was in the Heisman race. Legitimately. It wasn't one of those, yeah, we have our guy, he's in the Heisman race, haha, look at us, we're doing a Heisman pitch. No, he was in the Heisman race. He really was. Yeah, he was a Doak Walker Award finalist. He arguably the best running back Utah has had. And it's very arguable because Utah has had quite a few good running backs. And so Devontae Booker, for me, S tier. He is one of the best running backs to come through the University of Utah. Eric Weddle, this one's easy. I mean, he's up there with Alex Smith. The best safety Utah ever had. I think that's pretty easy to say. Although there is a name for the historians of the University of Utah coming up later here that I'm going to talk about. But Eric Weddle is a beast. And he's a wonderful human being. And I was fortunate enough to be at Olympus High School when he was on the conditioning team. He helped Olympus, the football team, with their off-season conditioning program, helped mold it into a lot of what they do today. And he was fantastic. He could tell if a guy was struggling, me, with any sort of workout, and he was willing to help out. He was willing to lift the bar when you just couldn't anymore. And just a wonderful human being. He got his Super Bowl ring finally with the Los Angeles Rams. He's a fringe Hall of Famer for me. He is one that, if he gets voted into the Hall of Fame, I will have no qualms about it. If he doesn't get voted into the Hall of Fame, I won't have any qualms about it. I mean, he would be squarely at the top of the Hall of Very Good if he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame. So Eric Weddle, absolutely. S tier, University of Utah, player, person, just everything about him, really. Next up, Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles goes in the B, not just because his last name starts with a B, but he was a very high draft pick. I believe he was the highest draft pick the University of Utah had since Alex Smith going to the Denver Broncos, and he's an anchor on the Denver Broncos offensive line today. He went through a lot in his off-the-field life. He cleaned everything up. He played at the University of Utah where Kyle Whittingham and the offensive line coach believed in him, trusted in him, and he repaid that kindness in spades. One of the best offensive linemen to go through the University of Utah, up there with Jordan Gross, and just from what I understand, a very good human being too. He loves his family, loves his kids, and he's just a great guy for the Denver Broncos. So that's awesome. Next up, Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl's going next to Daylon Wright on that C tier. Very solid big man for the University of Utah. Definitely, I would say, their best player in their Pac-12 era. And the reason he's down there is I had some interactions with, he doesn't remember him because why would he? But when I worked at GameStop, I had some personal interactions just with him and his teammates that weren't the greatest. He was the kindest of the group, though. I will say that for him. He was always kind, smiling, would respond to us when we talked to him. He had to look down on us, but he didn't look down on us. So it's more of a reflection on the other guys that he was with than him. I couldn't tell you who the other guys were. It's immaterial. But he C tier because when you think of Jakob Poeltl, you don't really think of University of Utah. For me, I think San Antonio. That's what I think of when it comes to Jakob Poeltl. So, first-round draft pick, another one in the lexicon of University of Utah basketball players. But C tier feels correct for me. Next up, we have Jordan Gross, S tier. I'll put him above Devontae Booker. Jordan Gross, the best offensive lineman, except for Spencer Fano. I mean, Spencer Fano is probably the best offensive lineman to come through the University of Utah, but Jordan Gross is number 2, and it might just be 1A, 1B at that point. You're really splitting the finest of hairs when it comes to those two players, but Jordan Gross, current offensive line coach for the University of Utah. He is one of the best offensive linemen to play for the Carolina Panthers, first-round draft pick, and a guy who is firmly in the Hall of Very Good. He should be in the, I don't know what the Carolina Panthers have for theirs, but their Hall of Fame, Ring of Honor, whatever they have, he should be there for them. Not quite Hall of Fame. He does have quite a few Pro Bowls, but definitely S tier, University of Utah athlete. I mean, no notes when it comes to that for me. Larry Wilson. This is for all of you historians. So Larry Wilson's going into the A tier. BYU fans are sometimes quick to say, well, who does the University of Utah have in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Well, the University of Utah fans were able to say that for a long time until Steve Young got in. Larry Wilson, one of the best defensive backs in his era, multiple Pro Bowls. He was in the NFL Top 100. He was in the 100th anniversary best NFL team as one of those defensive backs. Played his career with the Arizona Cardinals, and there's not many highlights, so I can't really speak to his athleticism. But I mean, you look down his credits, just those credits alone tell you, yeah, he was pretty good. He was pretty good. So A tier, definitely A tier. The only reason he's not an S tier is because I didn't ever get to watch it play. It is in the Wayback Machine, but definitely A tier. Louis Sakota for me is D tier, and let me tell you why. It has nothing to do with his All-American, he was an All-American at the University of Utah. He helped the University of Utah to defeat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. He helped beat Nick Saban, right? Probably the best kicker to go through the University of Utah. Has nothing to do with that. All of that's great. This is my personal bias because it was because of him that BYU lost against the University of Utah when Utah was going for that perfect season. It was because of him and his fake kick where he ran for like 60 yards. I don't think it was 60, but he ran forever. And when I was in high school, I was apocalyptically angry when that happened. I was so mad that from where we were all sitting, me and my buddies that were watching, we're like, this is a fake. How are they not seeing this? It's a fake. Sure enough, it was a fake. Louis Sakota runs for 60 yards, breaks the back of BYU, and that's the game. That's why he's in D tier for me. Otherwise, he would be A tier, I think. One of the first consensus All-Americans the University of Utah had. Probably their best kicker. A guy, from what I understand, is a good guy off the field as well. Always willing to shake hands, sign autographs when it comes to tailgaters and stuff. So, D tier for that one reason. No other reason. And I had to let one in there from my time as a BYU fan growing up at Olympus High School, which, I mean, you were a BYU fan. There was like 6 of us. And so we were persecuted and prosecuted against. So I just wanted to bring that up. That's why, Louis. Otherwise, you are up there in the A tier. Right here, Luther Ellis. Luther Ellis, before John Henry Daly, before Devin Lloyd, before the Barton family, it was Luther Ellis causing nightmares for offensive coordinators, offensive linemen, and quarterbacks alike at Utah. He's S tier for me. He had a long career with the Detroit Lions in the NFL. He was a Pro Bowler. He coaches the defensive line for the University of Utah. He helped create the monster that is John Henry Daly. So he's S tier, and he's still a mountain of a human being. I mean, you go and you meet Luther Ellis, you're doing this. Hi. He's 6'8". He's still a mountain of a man. I'm sure he could still squat 700 pounds if he wanted to. So, good guy, one hell of a coach, and one hell of a football player when he played at the University of Utah. So, yeah, he is S tier. Next up, Michael Doliak. Michael Doliak was a very, very good player. He was a big man who could stretch the floor. He had a really sweet jump shot. He's B tier for me. He didn't stick in the NBA. He did play overseas for a little bit. He was a very good player. He absolutely was. He was not Keith Van Horn. He was not Andre Miller, but he was definitely crucial in their run in that NCAA tournament. So Michael Doliak definitely goes into the B tier. Rick Majerus, easily S tier. Easy. The best basketball coach to go through the state of Utah. And I'm putting him up there with Jerry Sloan. Like, his success at the University of Utah is second to none. They've been chasing that success ever since, much like BYU's been chasing the success since LaVelle Edwards left. So, you have to put him S tier. He absolutely one of the best basketball coaches that the NCAA has ever seen. And his tenure didn't end very well at the University of Utah. He went to St. Louis, coached the Billikens for a little while. And yes, I did know that off the top of my head. Thank you. And just an outstanding coach. Outstanding coach. And he never lost to BYU. he never lost to BYU. All right. So after Rick Majerus, we got Scott Mitchell. D tier for me. Detroit Lions quarterback. He had a long and solid career in the NFL. He was also on The Biggest Loser, and he lost, I'm just going to say it, a shit ton of weight. And he's been able to keep it off. He was a very good quarterback, lefty. Don't really see very many lefties. Not necessarily anymore. You just don't see that many. It was a solid quarterback. Played with the Detroit Lions. Not necessarily his fault that the Lions were bad. It's the front office and the ownership. But when it comes to Scott Mitchell, he's D tier for me. Just because when I think of University of Utah quarterbacks, I don't think of Scott Mitchell. I think of Alex Smith. That's what I think of and even, here's a name for you guys. He's not on here, but Brett Ratliff. Yeah. He subbed in for Brad Johnson and just dominated BYU. And to this day, I remember walking to lunch with my friends before the game, and they were all excited because, their starter wasn't going to play, and it was going to be their backup, and their backup hadn't seen any action. And I was just thinking to myself, and I said to them, it's the perfect storm. Do you not realize? There's no film on this guy. There's nothing for Bronco Mendenhall to prepare for. And if there's one thing that Bronco Mendenhall hates, it's having no film on somebody. Sure enough, game happens. Brett Ratliff dominated BYU. I've got a lot of scars from my time in high school. All right, so that was that. Scott Mitchell, D tier. Sean Smith, one of the best defensive backs to go through the University of Utah. Played in the NFL for a long time. He's A tier. Definitely very talented player. And a guy that, if it weren't for injuries, I think could have been a very, very, very good player in the NFL. Next up, we got Star Lotulelei. He's S tier. I was fortunate enough to be able to meet him. And salt of the earth guy. He had the time for you. He had the time for every single kid that was in that sort of like presentation meetings thing he did for us. He had the time for you. He was in no rush. And he was a beast on the field. First round draft pick, played for the Bills. I believe he played for the Panthers, Buccaneers as well. Super long NFL career. And his name is Star. He's a star human being too. So Star Lotulelei is definitely in S tier for me. Next up, here's a guy for you historians of the University of Utah, Tom Chambers. Yeah, Tom Chambers played in the NBA for a long time. Tom Chambers is one of the best basketball players to go through the University of Utah. Fringe Hall of Famer for the NBA. Or it's not the NBA, it's Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, but You know what I mean. He's A tier. Without Tom Chambers, the University of Utah basketball program probably isn't what it is today. In fact, it almost definitely isn't. And he played for the Jazz. He played for the Jazz for quite a few seasons, multiple-time All-Star for them. Yeah, he's A tier. And definitely a historian pick. Zach Moss. Zach Moss is also an A for me. Zach Moss was a monster running back, played in the NFL for a long time, Bengals, Bills, other teams. Absolute beast. You hand the ball off to him, you know you're getting at least 6 yards, and he's not falling backwards. He is also a very kind human being. I saw him at the Utah Hockey Club game. He was shaking hands with everybody. He had the time of day for everybody that wanted to meet him. Took pictures with young fans. Just a great guy. I mean, just a great guy. And one of the best running backs to go through the University of Utah. Like, there is a stable of running backs for the University of Utah. Zach Moss is definitely one of the thoroughbreds that have went through there. Next up, we have... You remember this guy? Do you remember this guy? I do. Kevin Dyson. Kevin Dyson, if you all remember, he's going B tier, by the way, was the receiver in that Titans-Rams Super Bowl that was about 6 feet short of winning the Super Bowl for Steve McNair, Eddie George, Frank Wycheck, that team against the greatest show on turf. He almost did it. Unfortunately, that's how I remember him, but he was a very, very good wide receiver at the University of Utah. He was all whack, and he was a guy that you just throw the ball up there, he's going to go get it. I mean, he made every quarterback he played with at the University of Utah look better. So Kevin Dyson, B tier, because I do remember him. I don't know if you do. I do. And so that's where he is. Next up is Jamal Anderson. You know that stable of running backs the University of Utah has in their history? Jamal Anderson is a big part of it. He's S tier for me. Played in the Super Bowl. Did the Dirty Bird. He was the Dirty Bird guy. He scored a touchdown, did the Dirty Bird. And he was one of the best running backs in the NFL for like a 3-year span. That was back in the NFL where those running backs ran the ball like 300, 350 times a season. Him, Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson, guys like that. That was Jamal Anderson too. He was a guy who could tote the rock all day for you. So definitely S tier for me. He was also a beast at the University of Utah, all whack, like just a crazy good running back. And without him, who knows what the stable of University of Utah running backs looks like. Next up, we have, and forgive me, I have to cheat again because, but Steve Smith. Steve Smith, S tier. The best receiver to go through the University of Utah. Fringe Hall of Famer for me, along with Eric Weddle. Steve Smith is in that same breath for me. Hall of Very Good, absolutely Hall of Fame. I could make the argument for you if you want me to. But all-time yapper. Hall of Fame yapper. Dude can talk mess with the best of them. I mean, he's up there with Gary Payton. So, yes, he's S tier. Fantastic wide receiver for the University of Utah and Ron McBride. And he breaks down wide receivers very well. And he was one of the first that said Puka Nacua is going to be one of the best receivers in the NFL. He was one of the first on his podcast. He really was. Everybody was like, oh, Puka's a flash in the pan, or, he's not going to be able to sustain this his rookie year and further on. And Steve Smith was one of the first. No. What are you guys talking about? I'm going to break it down for you, and this is why. So Steve Smith knows ball, too. And so Steve Smith, S-tier University of Utah athlete, and fringe Hall of Famer for me. Keith Van Horn, S-tier, up there with Rick Majerus. There's a lot of S-tier guys for the University of Utah. Keith Van Horn was before his time. If he played in today's NBA, he'd be getting paid. And he'd be getting paid handsomely. He retired from the NBA when he turned 30. He was 30 years old. He retired from the NBA. He just didn't want to put up with the NBA and its antics. I get it. Draft pick of the then New Jersey Nets. Got to play alongside Jason Kidd. Just a stretch big man who will make the shot. There's nothing high. There's no higher compliment you can give to a shooter than he's just going to make the shot. Just get the ball to him. That was Keith Van Horn. Dude averaged almost like 60 points a game, I swear. When I was younger, I just looked up, box score after the University of Utah game. Oh, Keith Van Horn, 40 points. Huh. Average night. That's really what it felt like with Keith Van Horn when he was playing ball for Rick Majerus. And first round pick, NBA draft, another one from the University of Utah. So S tier Ute for me, absolutely. Cam Rising, S tier. The Will He Won't He saga was one of the most interesting sagas in college football. And outside of like SEC country and Big Ten country, it was the saga. When it was the Pac-12 and then their first couple seasons in the Big 12. If Cam Rising were healthy, University of Utah would have won another Pac-12 championship and quite possibly a Big 12 championship. He was that good of a leader. Was he that good of a quarterback? Yes and no. He knew Andy Ludwig's scheme inside and out. Andy Ludwig didn't really have to call the offense. By the end of Cam Rising's career, he called it himself. Like, they didn't need to stop and look to the sideline for a play. Cam Rising could just get him up to the line and say, yeah, we're running this. And it was almost, I don't want to say Peyton Manning-esque because that's way too high of praise to give, but his command of the playbook was on par of quarterbacks of that ilk. And so when Cam Rising went down, there was a drop-off, both in talent as well as just knowledge of the playbook. And so that kind of goes on the coaching staff, etc. But Cam Rising, all-time highlight in that championship game against USC. Helmet goes flying off, pops right back up, puts it on. He's ready to go. All-time gamer. So definitely S-tier Cam Rising, no doubt. And before we do Kyle Whittingham, I want to bring up this man. This man, his name is in sportscasting lore. If you can say this guy's name first time without hearing it, you get a gold star. This is Chris Fuamata-Ma'Afala. Played for the Utes in the 90s. He was a 6th-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a guy that some BYU fans called a cheat code. It wasn't fair. Because he was essentially an offensive lineman who was playing running back. And how are you supposed to tackle that? It was along the lines of a Jerome Bettis-esque type player. He was in that mold, that archetype. I'm going to put him in D, just because he's not a household name, but he's a guy I will always and forever remember, not just for his name, but for how he flattened BYU defenders in those games. Yeah, Chris Fuamata-Ma'Afala. Good luck saying that name if you read it. Now that you've heard me say it, you're going to say it right. But if you just read that name, I saw it when I went to school for sportscasting. I saw it on guys' faces. You see the eyes go, oh, shoot, how do I say this? And then I came in because I grew up listening to Pacific Islander player names. I grew up with it. BYU, Utah State, they all had them. I heard them. I heard them all the time. So it was hard for me. I just railed it off. Chris Fuamata-Ma'Afala. And just the look, not just on my classmates' face, but on the instructor's face, they were impressed. So European names I can't do, but I can do Islander names for sure. So yeah, Chris Fuamata-Ma'Afala is D tier just because he's not a household name. Should be with that name. But I wanted to bring him up because when I think of Utah running backs, I cannot think of a Utah running back without at least mentioning Chris. So, yeah. And then the ultimate Ute. He is the Ute. You think of him, you think University of Utah. I know he's coaching at Michigan right now. I want him to dominate in the Big Ten. I want him to go 12-0. I really do. Beat Ohio State. I want him to do that. I do. Do I think he will? I don't think the talent's there, but he is definitely the coach to do it. Kyle Whittingham is Utah, and Utah is Kyle Whittingham. The way it ended is the way it ended. It rarely goes the way people want for a legend. For BYU, it was a 6-6 season for Lavelle Edwards. That's not great. That's not the way you want to go out. Kyle Whittingham, much better. The team, 3rd place, Big 12. If it weren't for losses to the 2 teams that were in the Big 12 championship game, they would have been there themselves. And the athletic director for the University of Utah, you all know I don't have much respect for him. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to say anything more. But Michigan stole Kyle Whittingham from them. All right, there we go. But Kyle Whittingham is the University of Utah. S tier, up there with Rick Majerus, two of the best coaches ever in their sports, period. I will hear no slander for either Kyle Whittingham or Rick Majerus. That's coming from somebody who grew up a BYU fan, died in the wool BYU fan. Kyle Whittingham was the spitting image of Satan when I was growing up. Now, he's a guy I'd like to have a beer with. So there you have it. That is my ranking of University of Utah athletes here. You got all of the best ones that I could think of. And I even did a little bit of research like for Tom Chambers, Larry Wilson as well. But these are definitely the guys that come to mind when I think of University of Athletics. Let me know in the comment section below your favorite University of Utah athlete who I might have missed. There are definitely other sports that I missed for both BYU and Utah. Cross country for BYU, gymnastics for Utah, softball for Utah, soccer for BYU. But the major sports here, the big three, Utah basketball, baseball. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with somebody you think you might like it. And I don't think I'll be able to do this for Utah State. There's just not that many. So next one of these I do, it'll probably be for the Utah Jazz or maybe Real Salt Lake, but I'll see you guys in the next one.